Good morning. Welcome to Great Transition Strategies Monday Morning Standup. 5 minutes to get your week off to a great start and potentially give you something to help make you a more effective leader. Today's topic: who is the next person leaving your organization and why? I'm Gary Slyman. As an executive coach, I work with high performers to help them build their self-awareness, understand how they lead so they can be more effective and love what they do. Who is the next person leaving your organization and why are they leaving? Think about your team right now, whether it's a team, your organization, the people you work, your direct reports. So think about those folks. Look at the head count. Who's the next one to leave and why are they leaving? Do you know? I believe that there are 4 ways that people leave organizations. Number 1, good terms, planned. Everyone knows. Number two, bad terms, sudden. Number 3, bad terms, long, drawn out. Number 4, and this one, surprise, no one knew. Oh my goodness, you're leaving? Okay, so let's talk about each one of them, and then we're going to talk about the leadership impact on them. So the first one, good terms, everyone knows. That's how we want it. Whether a person is a poor performer and they're leaving, that you have to let them go, but you want to know, hey, things aren't working. Let's figure out how we're going to do this. No. Long term, hey, I'm going to get my MBA. Someone's going to go get a grad degree. Hey, I'm transitioning. I've reached my ceiling at this place. It's time for me to move on to what's next for me. Hey, I'm moving. That's what we want to know. As leaders, that's what we're after. They leave as a good alumni of the organization. Things worked out well. You could plan for things. That's what we're looking for. Next, sudden, really quickly, on bad terms. You're firing someone. You're letting them go. No one likes that. But that sometimes that just has to be done. And in those cases, when something egregious happens, the shorter, the better. Sometimes you might draw it out. It takes some time. Might be a little bit more painful. Well, that's the next one. Bad terms, drawn out. Think of that individual. Well, maybe you belong to an organization, that you work for an organization where it's really hard to fire someone. What immediately comes to mind, sometimes government employees are really difficult to fire, or low performers. People get jockeyed around from position to position, lateral transfers. Maybe you're just in an organization where you have a boss who's like, nope, they're staying. You work with them. You train them. You get them up to speed. We hired them. They can do it. So you have those organizations too, where you're leading and your hands are tied. You can't get rid of folks, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? So that's a painful one. So you might be doing all kinds of things to set performance plans, criteria. How do you move that person along so they can self-select their way out? Okay. You probably, as you're looking at your team, if you have one of those, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Last one, surprise. Oh my goodness. When someone comes in, particularly a good performer comes in and says, hey, 2 weeks notice, I'm leaving. No, I'm not going to renew my contract at the end of this year. Whoa, really? I'm not going to renew my contract. That means you have some time. But the surprises nobody likes. So think about, if you got a surprise, as you look at your team, if you got a surprise from somebody, what would that mean to you? So why am I talking about this? Gallup, engaged employees, or study on engaged employees, leaders have 70% of the variability of engagement on what people stay, whether people go, whether they're engaged. So how are you doing with knowing your people? So look at the head count, look at the people in your team that we started with today. You started thinking about, maybe you have 6, 8, go through each one of them. How well do you know them and how well do you know their plan to move along? None of us are staying in our position forever. We are all going to leave. Everyone on your team is going to leave at some point. Do you know when and do you know how? What do you prefer? I prefer good terms, long, lots of longevity. We understand why. So as leaders, it's up to us to take care of it. It's up to us to know each individual. It's up to us to know their plans, and they need to know how we're feeling about them as well. So it's up to us as leaders. Inventory, who's leaving next? Why are they leaving? So you understand what's going on. Hope you found that helpful. I did when I finally sat down and thought about this kind of thing. Have a great week. See you next Monday morning, 8:30.